With every match, a warrior is born. Step inside the ring. This is the Whip Podcast with your host, devastating Daryl Pace and Deshaun Whipdog Whipple.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders Podcast, a.k.a. The Whip Show. You know what it is. I am Deshaun Whipdog Whipple, and I want to first thank you guys for watching all of the other episodes. We just had Dusty Rhodes, a.k.a. the world's greatest Dusty Rhodes cosplayer on the last episode. Go back and check that out. Check out all the episodes. You know what to do. Share, tweet, 5-star, all that stuff. And also, check out the other things on the Whip Show Podcast Network. Check out my boy Coach with Coach's Corner. Check out the Word Heavyweight Champion Railing with Mr. Joe Walker. You can find all that on all the podcast platforms, YouTube, Spotify. Shit, go find your old ass Nokia phone. It don't matter. Whatever you got, just use that. Just find the Whip Show. But enough about my show. Because I got some guests here today they've been going already in the back. So I'm gonna just let them do what they do. Now, I actually met these people during Wrestlemania weekend in Dallas. And we all got something in common. But I thought I was a huge wrestling fan. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to crack open this Crown Royal Whiskey Lemonade, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Go right ahead, y'all. Say hello, one by one.
Okay,
what's
my name
up?
is Chris from Baltimore, and I've been a wrestling fan since 1988, and I'm going to turn it over to my sister, the one and only Miss Dave Housen.
I am Deb Housen, aka Winehousen, and I have been watching wrestling since 2007, on and off, but I really got into it when I started watching or listening to Busted Open about 5 years ago. So I've been pretty much like hardcore since then.
Cool.
Tony?
Well, I am the greatest truck driver of all time.
Yeah, you are.
I am Mr. Tony Justice. And I have been watching wrestling since 85, 86, somewhere around there. And been, listening to Busted Open for about 5 years, 5 or 6 years. But it is a hell of a ride, man. Hell of a ride. Being a wrestling fan is a hell of a ride. And I'm so happy to have met my crew. And yeah, we'll get into that in a little bit. Mm-hmm. Now I want you to say hello to Mr. Sean down there.
Oh, God. This is Sean Scythe, the gift master, a graveyard worker. Like, I've been a wrestling fan since probably 1993, and then I've just been on top of it since then. Attitude Era, ECW for life as always, and now I'm going to pass it to my boy John.
Good evening, folks. John in South Jersey. Been a wrestling fan probably longer than most of you have been alive.
Hey, now.
Well, hey, it's a very distinctive club I share with all of the Busted Open hosts. We are all in the 50 club. We all turned 50 last year at the same time. I cover everything from old school Golden Era WWF, not E, all the way through to present day, and my passion is indie wrestling, as you can soon find out exactly what Nation's Corner on Location is all about. Pleasure to be here with you, Sean. As always, I am here with my crew. They know me, I know them, and they know what we do. So thank you for having us.
And fans, I think y'all heard them drop a gem. And before I even say something, Dave Lagreca, Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer, Mark Henry, this is all of you. Oh, shout out to Mickey James as well and the girl Gabby. This is your fault. You created this world right here. This is all you.
We got to put Thunder in there, too.
You got to get Thunder in there.
My Thunder,
my girl.
I'm sorry, Thunder Rosa.
My girl.
I'm sorry. Well, fans, what you got right here, a lot of us already were Busted Open fans. But, you turn on Sirius Radio, you just start listening to it. But these guys were so determined to be a part of the Busted Open family. You got the Nation's Corner. Now, with that being said, the Nation's Corner, these guys had their own podcast. They've hung out with Lagreca and the rest of the team. how did you guys connect, man? I mean, and Chris, I want to start with you. You're talking about just turning on Sirius radio in your car or in your truck. How did that go from turning on a radio station to being one of the dopest groups ever?
I was introduced to Busted Open from a friend of mine. His name is Aaron. I've never met Aaron. We met on Twitter. We've been friends for almost about 9 years. Never met. But we send each other Christmas gifts and birthday gifts and things like that. And he goes, Chris, I think you ought to listen to this wrestling show. It comes on Sirius. Do you have it? I said, no, I unsubscribed from Sirius years ago. He gave me his login. I listened to Busted Open and I was immediately hooked. I was always on Twitter, but I didn't know any of these people at all. I'm kind of a loner. I don't really like meeting new people, but it was just something about the magic between the ones that you're here with today and a few that aren't even here on the show. We just kind of just gelled together. I listened to Busted Open and I have been hooked since day fucking one. Since day one. I've never missed an episode. Ever. And I've met these people. We travel together. We drink together, we smoke together, we laugh, cry, we cuss each other out, we get mad with each other. We don't agree, we agree to disagree. But guess what? Nobody messes with my crew. If I got to say anything about that.
Y'all, man, that's so amazing right there.
I'm
like I said,
overprotective of them.
I know how I first started. I would see the clips online, but I didn't have Sirius either. I'm like, Busted Open, okay. Then one day, I would just happen to tweet Lagreca, like, what station does it come on? And one thing about the Busted Open family, it's all connected. He quickly inboxed me back, was like, Sirius, boom, 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 the channel, turn it on. I've been like,
get a subscription.
He does not play. Well, yeah, he doesn't play.
Free week. Let's roll.
Whoa. But with that being said, like, well, Sean, what was your connection to this whole family, man? How did you become a part of this? You're the gift master.
I am
before you go,
the newbie of the whole group.
Sean, hold on, before he starts, y'all, everybody out there, make sure you holler at Sean. He did my logo. Like, I changed my logo instantly for him because he's the dopest out there. Go it. My bad. Go.
I'm the newest to the group. So it's about 2 years ago. I think it was a dirt sheet actually put something, Bully said something. I was like, oh, Bully's got a show, and I'm a big ECW guy. So I instantly found it right there. And this is right when it's a couple months before he started the Thunder Rosa beef. And I was listening, I was like, this is great, this is great. And then they mentioned Chris from Baltimore on the show. And I went straight to my Twitter, just made a Twitter account, didn't even have a Twitter, and added Chris from Baltimore and started chit-chatting with Chris from Baltimore. And then I got into the group. Little did I know what was going to happen. Then next thing you know, we go on to Conroe. These are my best friends in the world, the only people I talk to. I start making a brand and I start doing gifts and I start computer programming and you're looking at where I'm at now. I mean, I started this journey with these guys a year ago. And then I started the gifts and the computer programs and the video editing and the designs 10 months ago. And now I have retweets from Lagreca. Bullies retweets my stuff and use it. And that's just how it kind of got. They gave me the confidence in this group to travel, that I didn't feel weird, that I wasn't the only guy out there that liked wrestling and a bunch of other things like death metal and my tarot cards and stuff that me and Andre talk about, that I wasn't alone. And then I was able to like explore it and then show the world what I can do.
Oh, man. Now, Tony, you already talked about being like the greatest truck driver ever. So I assume you got Busted Open in the truck when you driving. But like, how did you go from being a guy that's delivering whatever you delivered on them pallets to meeting this crazy crew of people, dog?
Well, I can sum it up in one word: the pandemic. When the pandemic happened, and I don't know if Deb is back in or not. She got kicked out. Her Wi-Fi got cut off. She said she was in the waiting room. So the pandemic, I remember the day we were listening to Busted Open and they didn't have a show because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know, what was going on. so no one returned. No one went to the studio. And
that's when they locked everything down.
Yeah, they locked everything down that day one of the pandemic. And so we have a Discord server, and so we all kind of congregated in there, and we found out, hey, you listen to Busted Open, you listen to Busted Open, and on Twitter, you see people retweeting and tweeting Busted Open stuff. So we all decided to start our own version of the show on Discord, and we kind of started from that point. And then we started Zooming and doing watch-alongs for Raw, and AEW wasn't even on at the time. I don't think, was it?
No.
I think, yeah,
Nope.
it was. It was.
It was.
Oh,
Yes, it was.
It
Yes.
had just started.
It just
Yeah.
started.
All right.
Yeah.
I wasn't here for that.
And so and all the pay-per-views, I mean, we really kind of all came together. WrestleMania 35, wasn't it? WrestleMania 35.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yes.
were all watching.
The one in Tampa.
Bully came
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
Mhm.
Bully, Dave, Mark were all on our Zoom with us, watching it with us, and it was just amazing. And we all got to see each other and just we formed a bond. And now every day, I'm talking every day, we Zoom every day. And it's like, it started out, we only Zoomed on wrestling nights, and we had like 2 nights of the week that we didn't Zoom, but then we got so close to each other that we're like, hey, we're bored. We want to Zoom, so we
And
just started
wrestling
making a
became
Zoom
7
every night.
nights a week.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that, man. I love that.
And the funny
Yeah.
part now, Whip, at this point, we're around each other so much. Maybe 1 or 2 of those nights of the 7, we actually talk about wrestling. Other than that, we're just hanging out. We're both.
Yeah.
Chris and I are talking about cigars. Sean's trying to figure out what death metal song sounds like Cookie Monster this week. Tony and I are trading old country songs and Elvis songs. Deb sits there with her wine after work and all that.
Usually
And
I'm
so,
trying to find the shit that'll freak people out the most. Make
Yeah.
pop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we're just a weirdo like that. So
Yeah.
I'm the weirdo.
Yeah. It started out just talking about wrestling, and then we formed real friendships.
yes,
And then we talk about all kinds of stuff. I mean, I've had friends in real life here that are like, well, why are you spending so much time talking with a wrestling group? Like, this isn't just a wrestling group anymore. These are my closest friends.
Now, Deb, I'm glad you brought that up, because first things first, I got a bone to pick with you, Miss Deb Housen. You wasn't on your show this past week. You wasn't on your show this past week.
I was with John in
Yes.
South Jersey
Okay.
at a show.
Okay, because I'm just saying, you talk about Twitter.
Yeah.
See, when Deb drops the promo pic, they go crazy.
Yeah.
Then they were like, "Where's Deb
Yeah.
House?" And they did like the Three Amigos, and she wasn't on the promo pic.
Well, I was actually at wrestling.
Okay. You did a-
We actually do go to wrestling sometimes.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I was with John in South Jersey. We had a great
Yep.
time.
Yep.
Well,
Went and
Deb,
saw Atlantic All-Star Wrestling, local indie promotion here, and had a real good time.
Oh man, and I know Jersey has an amazing independent wrestling history for years.
Yeah.
Jersey all
Okay.
problem. It's amazing, man. Well, I want to talk about this too, guys, and anybody can jump in right here. You talked about the creation of how Nation's Corner started and meeting everybody in your team, but the way I see it, I see him tweet about him, talk about you all the time. The way Lagreca, Bully Ray, and Mark Henry actually connect with you guys. I mean, you guys went out to eat with him and all types of stuff, man.
Mhm.
So could you tell me how y'all really got cool with them? You know what I'm saying? Because let's be honest, initially you hear people on TV or radio, they're behind the screen. You can't meet them. You can talk to them a little bit, but
Yeah.
how did that happen when you guys got tight with them, man?
Well, I think the biggest part of it is, interacting with them on Twitter and just, making your presence known as a fan. If they see your tweets every day interacting during Busted Open, they'll get to know, like, they'll recognize your name on Twitter. And then when we met them, like, we treat them like regular people. We don't, geek out over them. We're treating them like regular people. We're going out to lunch at a diner and just having a meal and having normal conversation, not fanning out.
Yeah.
So
No.
back in May, like the year before last in May, I had turned 39, and that was our first time that all of us had met. And so I had did reservations at Jimmy Seafood, and guess who shows up? Mark Henry, and he brings Enzo. So that was the first time that we got really personal with him, and just to share stories. And he smokes cigars, so I will always bring him cigars. So like every time any of us from our crew is around them, we always take them their favorite little things. If it's Oreo cookies, if it's cigars, if it's Terramana, like it's always something that, and so that kind of sticks with them. So this is why you hear the random shots out that from all of us, or they may read our tweet on Twitter, or just give us a shout out, just out of the blue. Hey, I want to give a shout out to my girl Dave Housen, or my girl Chris from Baltimore, Tony the truck driver. And then we also call the show. You have some in our group that call the show more than others. So that, so
shout out to Mongrovian Mike.
Yes.
Hey, G1,
Yes. I don't call because I listen at work, so I'm not able to.
Right. Me too.
I'm not able to, sit on hold while I'm at work. I'm just listening in my ear while I'm working.
The only time I called, I was on for when AEW finally made that trip to New Orleans after I've been holding tickets for 2 years. And that's about the only time that I called and talked to Dave and told him how I held up the Hydra and how I got with the Busted Open Nation before the show. We pre-gamed before the show with the Busted Open Nation because I sent out a tweet and used our Discord and met all the guys that listened to the show, and we huddled up before the show and were shotgunning PBRs before we went into AEW.
And also, a whip. I don't know if you remember, it was like 2 years ago, guys, when they had like the Busted Open biggest fan, and I won, but I didn't just win for me. I won for my crew because it wasn't about just me. We all won that night. We all won. I don't look at it like, oh, Chris is the biggest fan. No, my crew, because we're the ones constantly tweeting them and interacting with them. And
by the time that ego came down some though.
Well, and nothing for nothing, Chris. You didn't know what Ishkabibble was, so.
You know what?
Well, I'm glad you talked about winning the biggest fan thing, because there are people going to be watching the video, but a lot of people are going to listen to the audio. And I'm looking at them backgrounds. Y'all got some wrestling memorabilia. Just listen, fans, I want you to understand, this ain't no just, okay, we turned on AEW one day, or we just turned on WWE. So I'm going to randomly start. Who do I want to start with? John, tell me a little bit about what you got in your background right now.
Okay, well, my background, actually, I just finished reworking it. The big glare up here that you can't see real well, but we all have them. This is one of the original Busted Open Hydra heads. The four. They are five. Dave, Mark, Tom, Tommy Bully, and Ryan McKinnell. Shout out to our boy Scott in Long Island.
Scotty
Does all the bad heads. Scotty does.
Scotty is the greatest human being I've ever met in my life.
Scotty is the fucking man.
Easy. I'm half dead, but I'm still a human being.
But you don't care. You ain't even sniffed that yet. Anyway, so the special thing about this is the special thing about this is they're signed by all the hosts. The only one I have left, which I'm taking care of this Friday because he's wrestling up in Butler, New Jersey, is Tommy. So from there, I have an original. I'm going to try to get this on camera without killing myself. This is an artist, AJ Moore.
Shout out to AJ Moore.
Yeah, shout out to AJ.
At Good Fit. The dude is absolutely phenomenal. I own about 12 of his pieces. This is one that he just did recently for our girl Thunder Rosa, who is, of course, wearing the AEW Women's Championship, and it's also signed by her. And then there's a picture of me and Thunder right below it. Going around.
Ooh, I'm dizzy.
Whoa.
Wow.
Going around. Let me just do it this way. Let me just do it this way.
You do it whatever way you want to.
Dave Lagreca, Thunder Rosa, Kylan King, who you just saw on NWA Power, had the match of the year with the world's women's champion, Camille. My all-time favorite tag team right here. They act like two crazy chicken farmers from Delaware because they're two fucking crazy chicken farmers from Delaware. The greatest fucking tag team you've never heard of. Them boys. I am talking about Mark and Jay the Briscoes.
Yes.
One of my all-time favorites over here is an autograph picture, Al Snow with head.
Yes.
Everybody loves Ed.
My
Always.
current favorite tag team right now, the Savage Gentleman, Victor Benjamin and Lady Frost. My other favorite tag team right now from Mission Pro Wrestling, the Renegade Twins, former tag
here we
team
go with the
champions.
Yo,
Renegade
fan,
Twins.
see, that's why.
Oh
y'all
yeah,
gotta
Here we go with the
check
Renegade
Sean
Twins.
has some history with the
And-
Renegade
but
Twins.
Here
This
we go
one
with the
here,
Renegade Twins.
this one right here, we almost all have them, but this is a very special one, and it probably isn't coming through on my camera because my camera is awful. This is a picture by George Napolitano. Yeah, that George Napolitano
Mhm.
taken in the bathroom of the men's room of the ECW arena in front of the ECW banner.
With Bully.
Mule,
With Bully.
that's it.
With our whole group.
And if you
Wow.
look here, you'll see
And
Dave
Bully-
and Bully and all of us in the background. That's a very, very special picture.
You ain't got everybody in the background.
Uh-oh.
I haven't put that one up yet.
there.
Yeah, honey,
And then I have a very special one from Dave Lagreca that he gave me
Oh,
that has a
that's
very
that ro-
personal.
That's that
Yeah.
Thunder Rosa boy right there.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a very special message that Dave wrote to me on that. That's why it's hanging up there. But that's some of it. That's basically all I could fit on this wall.
Yeah.
But
So,
it's always work in progress.
now, Sean, I want to go to you, but not yet, because you was dissing my favorite wrestler earlier. So because of that, you got to wait in line. I'm going to Miss Chris from Baltimore. Let them know what you got, girl.
She's showing off
She's on the
all
Price is Right,
Rated.
showing off all her stuff.
Oh my God. Come on, Vanna White. Show that shit.
Everyone in our crew, especially Dad, she knows me and Tony, we get emotional when you talk about the greatest tag team ever in the world.
Mhm.
What I just mentioned the Briscoes. What are you talking about?
Ever. Look, it wouldn't be the Briscoes without the Road
The Road Warriors. I know.
Signed by
Absolutely.
Animal. This is signed. This is Hawk. This isn't signed. These are like my favorite right here.
Mhm.
Beautiful.
Gets no better.
The late Scott Hall.
Rest in peace.
And
Throw it up. Throw it up, everybody,
Hey,
real
yo.
quick. Throw it up. Throw it up.
But
There we go.
one more thing.
Hey, yo.
There you go.
So I was at the Baltimore Arena in 1992 when Ron Simmons won the World Championship belt.
Oh
From
my
Vader.
God.
I witnessed that. I was 10 years old. I was with my father. And that was the first time I ever saw my father cry. And as a kid, I didn't understand why he was crying until years later. So I cherish this right here because whenever I meet Ron Simmons again, I got to get him to sign this.
Man.
Because being at the Baltimore Arena and witnessing him power slamming Vader, then Brian Pillman comes out and what is his name? Barry Windham comes out, Dustin Rhodes, and they all lift him up. Like I said, I was 10. I didn't understand it then, but looking back at it now, I'm so grateful that I was there to witness history. And of course, thanks to
Yeah.
Scott, I got this. And I got like 10.
Tony's coming back in now.
I don't need fat heads. I got too many of them.
Man. Now, Sean, go ahead, man. Go ahead. See, I only had to do that because you dissed Hogan earlier. But Sean, go ahead and show them what you got going on.
First off, the greatest tag team of all time. It's 3D.
Ooh. Okay.
And I had the hat from Mr. Bully Ray when he cut his infamous promo in Ohio. One of two,
Chris is jealous.
because Devon has the other one. I haven't gotten contact with Devon to try and get it. My Rob Van Dam shirt I got at the first pay-per-view I ever went to in 1998 when I went and saw November to Remember as a kid when I first learned about ECW from my high school friend Luke Hawks. And that night I also
You
ran
mean
into
that
Rob-
Luke Hawks?
You mean the NWA Luke Hawks?
That Luke Hawks.
Yes, we went to high school
You
together.
mean
and
Stone
we were
Cold
friends.
Steve Austin on the Young Rock? Luke
Yes.
Hawks?
Yes. We went to high school together and we were friends. He told me about ECW. I went and bought a ticket. That was it. I was done. I was hooked.
And you were like, RVD is my guy.
Right.
Right.
But RVD had such a unique style in that time. If you think about wrestling, who was doing the stuff like RVD and Sabu? It was unheard of. Nobody was moving like that. I mean, it was cruiserweights, with the Rey Mysterio that had just started in WCW and Psychosis
Mhm.
and the Guerreros. But really, nobody had a moveset like Rob Van Dam or a Sabu at that time. And now it was just instantly. I tried. Lindsay Snow, her last match, I have her ring gear, kick pads, her blood all over my wall.
Now you made me look at it. Make the fans look at it too, man. Bring it to the camera, man.
Yeah, shout out to Lindsay Snow. She's a badass.
Shout out to the Florida man. Nah, show the kick pads, Sean.
Florida as
fuck.
I got her pants, her shirts.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
I have her kick pads.
Show the kick pads.
Oh God.
With the blood all over them.
They did Sean, while he's moving the stuff around, they did a indie show WrestleMania weekend for a place called No Peace Underground. It's kind of deathmatch, sort of ultra-violent type wrestling. It was the tag team match with Lindsay Snow and Kylan King versus Masa Slamovich and Lindsay Snow. And those four women beat the holy fuck out of one another for about 20 minutes. It's on Title Match Network. Look up No Peace Underground. I highly recommend it to watch these four women just basically destroy themselves. Fantastic match, though.
And then I have one of my third favorite wrestlers, or is my third favorite. I got a bunch of New Jack stuff because Jack was the
Rest
shit.
in peace, Jack. Rest in
Nice
peace.
piece of
The
Jack.
funny story about New Jack is when I went to 1998, I was sitting outside in line, and one of the kids goes, "Hey, Jerome," when New Jack walked outside to look for somebody. New Jack turned around, looked at a kid, and said, "Who the fuck is Jerome?" "I'm motherfucking New Jack. You about to learn."
Yeah.
That's Jack.
I was
That
like,
was definitely
"Oh
Jack.
shit!" And I was
I
like
wouldn't
a
dare
13-year-old
call
kid. And I was
somebody
like,
by their
"Oh,
real
right,
name."
you about to
That's
fuck
Jack.
up. Get a stapler. Fuck you up.
Oh man.
Mhm.
Damn, what you got going on over there? I see the Lagreca here.
All
What else
right.
you got going on over there?
So I got mostly newer stuff because I'm a newer fan, so I don't have the emotional connection to the old school stuff like these guys do. And truthfully, I only started buying stuff 2 years ago. Like pandemic hit, I was stuck at home. I went crazy on Amazon and pro wrestling tees and all that. Started getting the crate every month.
Hey.
When we started going to shows last May, I was buying stuff at shows. So I got my AEW flag here. You can't tell because my lights aren't that bright because then it'll wash out my pasty face. But every meet and greet we go to, we are having AEW people sign it. So I have a whole bunch of signatures from AEW people all over it. I got my John Moxley print here that was from Orange Crush. I instantly loved this picture when I saw it. Mox sitting in a chair backstage, cigarette and bottle of Jack in his hand. And to me, it's just the epitome of cool. In the middle, I got the Dark Order picture signed by all the members of Dark Order except for Stu and obviously Brody. My Mark Henry picture is very special to me, so that's why I have it in the middle.
Deb's got to cry.
Y'all know I love Mark Henry.
That's why Chris got one too.
Chocolate and a
So.
white chocolate.
Yeah. This right here is from artist AJ Moore. Shout out to AJ. This is a beautiful Sting and Darby print. And I love AJ's black and white pictures. I've always loved black and white pictures. And on this one, the only thing that's in color is Darby's blue eyes. So I just love that. I have like 7 other things from AJ that I have to put up on the wall. So I'm going to rearrange this whole thing at some point soon. Got NWO Turnbuckle signed by Kevin Nash. Various different micro brawlers that came from the crate or that I ordered from Pro Wrestling Tees. And I got, you can't see it behind Mark Henry's head over there is the Darby Wrestle Buddy. And then I got my Sledge Wrestle Buddy right here.
Sweet.
Little signs on here that are just, kind of so me. My favorite day is Wine's Day. And this one says, "Of course size matters. No one wants a small glass of wine."
Nice.
He really wants to see where the money's been spent. Go look in our closets with the wrestling shirts.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Pro
dear
wrestling
God.
tees.
I
You're welcome
am
for about
legit
$4.
running
Yes.
out of space for wrestling shirts. I have
I
all my
have
wrestling
over
shirts
120
separated because I don't
wrestling
have the drawer space.
120.
So I have them
Over
folded and
120.
stacked in the
Yeah.
closet.
I have
Put it
the-
this way. At the beginning of 2020, 2 years ago, I had probably 7 or 8 wrestling shirts. Now I've well over 100.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Well, Chris, you just talked about having over 120 also. And I'm going to tell you, you said you're 39, right?
I'm 40, baby.
You 40. Okay.
40.
I'm
my time, baby.
41, so
Oh.
I'm with you. So I gotta say this. You remember, like when I was little, I used to go to wrestling all the time, but my mom would never buy shirts. And I used to get so mad. They were like $10 then. So I said, when I become an adult, I'm buying all the shirts in the world, baby.
Mhm.
So it sounded like y'all was on the same wave, man.
Mhm.
Exactly.
My mom actually bought shirts because I still have. I've showed John a bunch of the original ECW shirts,
Yeah.
Taz shirts, Jack shirts,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
Dudley
Yeah,
shirts.
Yeah, the ones that
still
are
have the
120 on eBay now.
Yeah.
Right, man. Well, guys, I want to shift gears right quick because now it's time for my first segment, and it's called.
Hold on. We got Tony. Tony's
Tony
not
has
at
the
home,
picture.
Oh,
but he
no.
has a beautiful wall set up at his house.
I got a picture of my wall. I'm
Oh, you
you
do got
know
a picture,
I'm
okay.
all over the country, so I'm not at liberty to be at home right now. But this is my wall at
man.
home. And I mean, I've got all kinds of stuff. I will highlight some of the highlights of it.
Many of them are autographed.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, so this is from Locked and Loaded last year, the first time Dave Lagreca and Thunder met at the Buda show, Mission Pro. And we were there live. Shout out the Front Row. Front Row was there with me.
And Garza and Hijacker.
And Garza and Hijacker, Trenda. I mean, we
And
had a
Trenda was
big group.
there.
Yeah.
And Scott from online was there. And so they were selling this print. And of course, I stopped Dave and had him sign it, and I also got Thunder to sign it too. So that's I don't even know if y'all can see that, but
Yeah, we
it's
can.
her holding Dave up, and it's just a badass print, I think. And of course, you know, I've got some non-wrestling stuff on here too. This is one of my favorites. I ordered this off of eBay, but it's JSA certified. It's the Karate Kid.
Yes.
Show off the showdown on
Mhm.
Karate Kid 1,
Cobra Kai.
and it's Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso, and they both signed it.
Nice.
So
I thought he was gonna bust out
and-
the Sting picture. I was about to tornado
Yeah,
shit.
oh, of course, you know I've got
Hold on.
I've got Sting, you know.
It's
that's and then of course, I mean, who can go wrong with Gabby?
Yeah.
Shout out to
Oh,
Aw.
Gabby.
Shout out to
Gabby.
Gab.
That ain't no moon.
This is a you know, Metallica pick from a concert I caught. James
Ooh.
Hetfield tossed it to me, and I
I've never
caught
even
it
seen that
right
one
after he played
before.
Master of Puppets.
Whoa.
Of course, you know, I've got Bully on there signed. I've got okay, this is my home security.
You
This
need
is
to
my
calm
home
down,
security
girl.
system. Home security system. Chuck Norris.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank
My
you,
house
Chuck
is in good
Norris.
hands because Chuck Norris is protecting it.
Friggin' Chuck Norris.
And of course, another special thing of mine, you know, since I'm a truck driver, I don't know if you've all seen Smokey and the Bandit. I know John has.
It's on BBC tonight. They're running a Smokey and the Bandit marathon.
You know that.
Cool. Well, the truck driver in Smokey and the Bandit was his name is Jerry Reed, and I got to see him in concert in '95. And this is my original VHS Smokey and the Bandit signed by Jerry Reed.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's damn cool.
And
I didn't know you had that either.
of course, this is
What else you been hiding from me?
I'll end it with this. So me and Chris had the luxury to meet. We had the distinct pleasure to meet DDP back in Philly, and I don't remember what month it was, September, I think. So me and Chris have been talking about. She's already on her fitness journey. I haven't even started mine yet. But
He will.
I hope DDP ain't listening. But anyway, so
I'm gonna tag him because you said that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Please
so
do.
yeah.
so we
Yoga.
got to meet him, and he was telling us about DDPY, and we were both telling him how we wanted to start our fitness journey. And Chris got a Peloton, and with me working as much as I do, I just don't have the opportunity unless I just start running laps around the truck stop parking lot, and then other drivers might start getting the wrong idea. But anyway, I digress. So we were talking about DDPY, and he in fact gave me and Chris 10% off the first month when we use it, and just for us talking to him about it. And his people were there filming while we were talking to him. And then we were so happy that we met DDP. Me and Chris were just hugging, because we were excited. We walked away, and then his guy actually came back and got us and said, "Can y'all do that again?" And they took out the camera and filmed us doing it. So
man.
I mean, but DDP signed an 8x10, and it says, "Yo, Tony, do your DDPY or else." Bang.
Right. Or out.
You're gonna get the bang?
Nowhere. See, Tony, I wish I knew. I would have had you send me the pictures. Well, I'm not as advanced as you, so I don't know how to do the whole screen share thing. But it still was amazing, dog. I love it, man. But Tony, I want to stay right here with you anyway, since you've been talking about it, because our next segment is called the Mark Out Moment. All of you guys have met tons of wrestlers, but I want to know that one moment, whether it was somebody you just saw in person, shook hands with, had a conversation that you was like, damn, I can't believe I'm kicking it with this person. Tony, I want to start with you, then I'm going to go down the line. But Tony, what was out of all the stuff you've been doing, what was your one mark out moment? If you could pick one.
All these guys know what I'm fixing to say.
Yep.
I was in Ardmore, Oklahoma in 2017 at a friend of mine, Jerry Bostic's wrestling organization. It was called Wrestlemania 2. And he actually resurrected World Class. They call it World Class Revolution now. It used to be World Class Championship Wrestling, and he got Kevin Von Erich's blessing to resurrect it. So anyway, so they're doing their stuff down there in Texas and Oklahoma and Kansas. But they were doing a show in Ardmore, Oklahoma, and Sting was headlining the Comic-Con there, the meet and greet. And so I had gotten there. I had bought a WWE Universal Championship belt because I went to a live event the night before in Dallas. And so I brought it with me, and so Sting had left early because he had an emergency. So he left. And so I talked to Jerry Bostic, and he told me that Sting had left. And I was like, well, crap, I was like, damn, I wish I'd have gotten here earlier. While I'm standing there talking to Jerry's phone goes off, and he goes, hold on a sec, speak of the devil. And he answered it. What's up, Stinger? He's like, oh, you're back in the back? All right, man, I'll be right there. He looks at me, he goes, you want to meet Sting? And I said, of course. So he took me backstage, back to the back entrance, and he asked me to slide his cigar ashtray in front of the door to hold it open. And I looked out there, and there's Sting in his scorpion shirt with his face. He had his Oakleys on. He didn't have his face painted. And me and him were wearing the exact same shirt because I was wearing my scorpion shirt. And he was letting his wife out of the SUV. And Jerry walked up to him and said, Stinger, I got a friend of mine here, man, who'd love to meet you. And he's like, of course. Sting walks up to me, shakes my hand. He goes, did you send me a memo for us to wear the same shirts or something? And I said, yeah, I'm glad you got it. And so we were joking around. He introduced me to his wife, and he asked me if there was anything he could do for me. I was like, would you please sign my belt? And so he signed it. And I wasn't going to ask for a picture because I wanted to respect the fact that he didn't have his face painted on, And so I got to shake his hand once more and told him how much he meant to me. And I walked away, and I walked through the door. As soon as I walked through the door, the waterworks started flowing, and I started shaking like a little girl. And then I'm in the midst of my emotional moment. And who other than Bully Ray was over at the table over there at his signing table. He goes, hey, yo. And I look over at him, and he goes, did you meet him? Because I had talked to him before about wanting to meet Sting. He said, did you get to meet him? And I took my belt over to him and showed it to him. He said, "It's fucking awesome, ain't it?" And fist bumped me. And so that was my bully moment before I even started listening to Busted Open.
Wow.
He was just starting hosting Busted Open, and it was just cool. So I got to have a Sting moment and a Bully Ray moment in the same night. So that's my mark out moment.
Man. John, what was your mark out moment, man? I know you got a good one for me.
A few.
He's got
a ton. Sean hates this. Whip, just to bring up, Sean hates me. I grew up in the entire ECW era, in the ECW arena every time they ran. I made just about every single show in that place, and Sean hates me for it because all the stuff that you watch on Peacock Network, if you look close enough, and I
saw it before Peacock. First off, I mowed yards to get those videos.
Well, anyway, if you look hard enough, you'll see me. There's about a dozen or so of even the TV taping shows that I'm in. But mine actually does take place in the ECW arena fairly recently. I believe it was about a year ago, maybe a little longer now. It was the first time we all met up in Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we went there. They had the Icons of Wrestling show during the day. Dave and Bully were there, so that's where the picture came from and all that. And then they had a Battleground Championship Wrestling show that night. I'm there with Trenda, Neil and his friend, and Deb and Chris and Tony, everybody else all bailed out. Oh, we're tired, this and that. Well, guess what? You guys should have stayed to the end. I had a 2-hour
drive home. You have 15 minutes to go home.
I can't help logistics, Deb. But they had they had a special tag team match at the end of the night. It was Rob Van Dam and a mystery partner. And to tell you how much I marked out for it, I forgot who they were tagging with or who they were tagging against. Everybody's wondering who's his partner.
When did Enzo and somebody?
I don't think so. For some reason, no. I don't think it was that. I'll have to go back and look at the card to see who it was.
No, I'm thinking of when Enzo actually tagged with Bully.
Yes.
But
that was a different show.
Yeah,
that was the Northeast Wrestling show.
Right.
Music stop. Pause. Quiet. Everybody's wondering. Bully Ray's music hits. And out comes Bully Ray in gear, going to the ring. First time back in the ring, wrestling, and God knows how long. And this, at that time, 50-year-old man went absolutely batshit crazy watching another 50-year-old man walk to the ring, because just the history I have at that place and the history that I have tied to all the ECW wrestlers from that, seeing Bully Ray back in the ECW arena in a ring, by far. I've had great mark out moments of the past, met a lot of my heroes and everything, but as far as strictly fan marking out, that tops it.
Awesome. Chris, talk to me. What's yours?
Well, my crew, they know I am a huge Hulk Hogan fan. Okay. I've never met him in person, but during the pandemic, he actually started to follow me on Twitter. And every time I would tweet something out about wrestling, sometimes he would comment. And one particular time I was working overtime and I had on a uniform and I had a cigar and I tagged him in it or whatever. And he responded and he quote tweeted me. And it was just like, oh my God, he follows me. When Wrestlemania was going to be in Tampa, he sent me a DM and he invited me to his pool party at his house. And they was going to get all this black girl magic, baby. I was going to have a 2 look, yes! Hit out, baby. Everything was going out. Baby.
Cash money taking over for the 9,900,000.
Get ready to get it.
No.
But then the pandemic happened and I couldn't.
Never trust a big button to smile. That girl is poison.
But the irony of that is he was going to be at Wrestlemania Access and I had paid money to meet him. And I was like going to mark out. I already know that whenever I do get a chance to meet him, I'm going to cry real tears.
Oh man.
And I actually want some of my crew to be there because I'm going to be so emotional because he was the first wrestler that I saw on TV.
I'm down with you.
And I took my vitamins as a kid. As you can see, I'm Hulkamania. I was like,
this is crazy, Chris. I swear we so similar because Hogan was mine. I'm from Detroit. I went to WrestleMania 3, but I got to meet him at Columbus all the sport. But he didn't even invite me to Tampa. He didn't want to see Whip's hips. He didn't want to see my hips. But he wanted to see yours.
Whip, I had a two-piece. I was going to have a white two-piece on. My lips was gonna be nice and glossed up.
Baby, he's gonna bring it.
Hey, it's a good thing Linda Hogan.
You self-pulling your hair talking about it.
All right. Damn, talk to me. What was your markout moment?
All right, so y'all know I'm a newer fan. Even though I have been watching wrestling since 2007, I never went to really any events or meet and greets before last year. I was a workaholic, couldn't really afford it, didn't want to take days off. So I never really went to anything. So the first meet and greet I ever went to was the first Baltimore Celeb Fest, May last year. And the first person that I met was Mark Henry. And I made a beeline for his table right away. And I was wearing the Mark Henry Sexual Chocolate, Hershey's style shirt.
T-shirt.
From Pro Wrestling Tees. And that has like special meaning to me because I kind of view Hershey, Pennsylvania as like my second hometown. I was born there. I was born at Hershey Medical Center. So Hershey has a special place in my heart. So wearing that shirt that said Sexual Chocolate and meeting him, he's the first wrestler that I ever met. Y'all saw me. I was shaking. I was shaking. I was so nervous because he's such a legend. And like I had never been in that situation before to meet someone like that. So I get up to the front of the line and everybody's watching me and I'm physically shaking. And Mark, he signs. What did I have him sign first? Yeah, I can't even remember. I had him sign something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I worked out. I didn't ask him to sign my shirt because I had paid for that shirt. I was gonna wear it, and I had him. I think I had him sign an 8x10 or something, and then I had him sign the Hydra here. That's what it was. Because I wanted to get all their signatures on the Hydra. The only one I'm missing is Ryan. So I had him sign the Hydra, and he signed that. And then he saw that I was wearing the shirt, and he was like, oh, let me sign that too. Like, I didn't even ask him to. He just went and signed on my shoulder right here. And then he goes, back in the day, I would have signed a little lower.
Wow. Shoot this shot. Where was Mrs. Henry at?
Yeah. And oh my God, I think from that moment on, me and Mark Henry had just like a special little song.
How Mark Henry the same way,
Oh,
yes.
Dig that.
Yes.
Dig that.
Mark Henry is just amazing. Anybody who meets him knows that when he talks, you listen.
Oh, absolutely.
When he's in a room, he commands people to listen and he will tell stories and everybody is just on the edge of their seat listening to every single word. And that's what I love about him.
Sean, talk to me, man. What's yours, baby?
Mine's going to be coming up, but I do have one. 1999, Alario Center, West Bank, New Orleans. I'm sitting ringside for a house show for ECW with my Rob Van Dam shirt, and he picks me out of the crowd and pulls me over the rail, and we do the Rob Van Dam thing in front of everybody. And I was losing my mind as a 17-year-old kid that I'm hanging out with Rob Van Dam. And this is Pantera's
that could have been a contact high.
You got Walk playing throughout the whole stadium. And at that point, I was a street kid for ECW. whenever they came to New Orleans, they always went to Hilario Center for the house shows. And I would stand at Macy's and hand out tickets and flyers and stuff like that for them.
Sweet,
That's
man.
that. But it's Leadfest. The house.
Oh,
Malachi.
Yeah,
Brody.
that's Malachi.
Calling it already.
That's happening.
yeah.
We're gonna be there.
Yep.
Oh,
In Baltimore. In
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
I'll be right
Y'all
there
heard
with you.
If y'all want to meet the nation, you see where to go. Y'all, they just told
Come
you.
to Baltimore.
We are gonna
You
be
ain't
in
gotta worry about
Baltimore.
No traffic.
Oh,
or nothing
Don't
like
walk
that.
up to me.
October
Don't
16th.
Don't walk up to me when I'm hanging out with Malachi and Brody and Murphy.
Well,
I
I'm
want to know
glad
me
y'all.
right there.
And Julia.
I ain't worried about Julia.
I'm glad y'all talking about being out in public because as we go towards the end of the show, I want to make sure I touch on this before we get out of here.
Mhm.
About a couple weeks ago, Dave does his power rankings, but he didn't do them on his own. Somebody else helped him with his power rankings. How did that come
We
about?
did. We were there.
We did that.
Yes.
The only time the power rankings were good.
Actually, another crew member who's not here, Stephen P.A., he was out saving grace because all
Yes.
of us were kind of like, we don't know, Dave, just pick somebody. But it was actually one of my besties, Stephen P.A. I love him to death. He was
And
the
he has one
one.
of the greatest
The one who
stories
gave
in the world.
Dave the
Yes.
Jason Dixon clock.
Yeah.
He has
Yes.
one of the greatest MJF stories that you'll ever hear in your life.
Yes.
So go to Twitter, follow him, and ask him about his MJF story. He
Will
will
do.
share that with you.
Oh,
But no,
God.
he was the one that kind of like put the nail in the coffin with the power rankings because it was, I mean, all of us contributed, but Steve was like, okay, no, I think it needs to be this, you know.
Because that's what we do.
He-
Power rankings and
He's
crab
the
cakes.
only one of us that has like real maturity that he was like, all right, let's do
Whoa,
this.
whoa,
Let's get
whoa.
this
He's
done.
got
He does not have maturity. He likes
Steve
dick
is
and
the
fart jokes
one
just like the
that
rest
can
of
talk
us.
me off of a ledge because everyone in the
Yes.
crew knows I am a firecracker. They
Mhm.
all know that. I ain't got
Not
no
you, boo.
filter.
Yeah.
Not you, boo.
Steve
Firecracker,
is the
more
one,
like an
along
M80.
with Tony, that can kind of like
Maybe put in the toilet.
chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steve has wisdom coming out the wazoo.
Yeah, he
No.
does. I love him to death, man. It's not actually,
Yeah.
I'll be at his house in like 2 weeks. Him and his wife just bought a house, and I'm going to the housewarming.
Ooh.
Cool.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Well, guys, I want one of y'all to just, and maybe one or two guys to answer this real quick. I want y'all to really just let Dave and the whole Busted Open team know what they mean to y'all. Now we talked about it already, but like I know with me personally, I mean, I've
Woo.
always been a wrestling fan. I never stopped. But I mean, I wasn't really going crazy, but started listening to Busted Open. It made me want to go to WrestleMania. For years, I said I was going to go to WrestleMania weekend. And him talking about the party and seeing so many people interact online, it was like, man, I got to be there. They almost reinvigorated my love for the business.
Mhm.
So I want one of you two of you guys to
Oh,
just
yeah.
talk to them real quickly, directly at them, and let them know what they mean to you guys.
Take it, Chris.
So I'll
Oh,
go. Well, I can go.
okay, go ahead then. I'll go. Go ahead.
Well, for me, like, you guys have been watching wrestling since you were little kids for the most part, and you've been to all sorts of historical events and stuff. And I never really did that. I've only been to a couple house shows here in Allentown for WWE. And once AEW started, I went to a couple shows that they did in Philly. But for me, I think Busted Open, like, reinvigorated my fandom for sure, made me a better fan, a smarter fan, and just kind of gave me that enjoyment in something in life. Because before, I went to work, I came home. I went to work, I came home. I didn't really do much other than, the yearly family vacation or whatever. So having that kind of that reinvigoration in my life that I'm gonna go have fun. I'm not just gonna make my job my entire life. I'm gonna go have fun. I'm gonna do what I want with my time off. And I was at freaking Wrestlemania in Texas this year. I never thought I would travel to Texas, first of all. Never thought I would go to WrestleMania. Never thought I would see The Undertaker. Never thought I would see Triple H. Never thought I would see Stone Cold.
Oh,
And I
wait a
got to
minute.
see all of that.
And you also saw the Von Erich's family cemetery plot.
Mhm.
Yes.
Mhm.
So it's I mean, you were there at WrestleMania. This WrestleMania this year was historic in so many ways. The historic moments that we saw in person, that me as a 32-year-old who only started watching wrestling 10, 15 years ago, I never ever thought I would see those things happen. So, and that's something that's very important to me, and that I'm having fun. That I'm having the best time of my life with my best friends.
For me, Dave, Bully, Tommy, Mark, they are the reason why I am connected to these people and the ones that aren't on the show. Out of all of my friends, none of them watch wrestling. So I had to be someone that I wasn't. I couldn't talk about wrestling to them. And Wrestling the Busted Open connected me to people that get me. They get me. Out of all of my friends that I've known my entire life, these people that I've only known for a short period of time, they know every little thing about me and they get me. It's a no judgment zone. We agree to disagree. I love them to death and we'll go to war for them, and they know that. But Busted Open is the catalyst for this. They are the nucleus for this, if that makes any sense. Without Busted Open, there is no us. Because Busted Open is what got us together. We all connected from one source, which was Busted Open. So Dave knows, we've all told him several times how much we appreciate him, how much, for putting the show together. But this isn't just me speaking. I mean, all of us feel the same way. Yeah. Without Busted Open, there is no crew, because we would have never crossed paths.
Right. There's been many times that I've been on Zoom watching a WrestleMania, and I'll break down to these guys being like, I thought I was alone.
Right.
I thought I was just this weird kid who liked this thing that nobody liked and felt uncomfortable with myself and was scared to show my personality and who I really was, because I thought people would make fun of me and I'd get bullied.
Why am I making fun of me?
Well, we still make fun of you, Mr. Hiding in bushes from women.
But they brought that out, and they brought me to a place to where I could talk to these guys, feel comfortable. Now, and just be me and just let it all out. I can tell you right now, I broke down to these guys being like, I love you, man. I've done it. I have done it.
One of the first times he was on Zoom with us. I love you guys.
And I thought I was the weird kid.
Let me tell you, Sean is the first person to text me every morning. Every morning, the first time my phone beeps is Sean. 6 o'clock in the morning. Good morning, sweetheart. Good morning, boo. Good morning, bestie. And right after work.
Better you than me.
You're breaking my heel shit.
Oh man. But that is a beautiful thing, man. Like because you don't get that everywhere. Because like you go to these wrestling shows and you see these 5,000, 10,000 people, and we're cheering in, but we never see those people again. So we're like, where do they go? And like,
no, this is for life. This is for life right here. This I love that. And the ones that aren't on the show, this is for life, because it's times where we'll be bored. I'm like, is anybody getting on Zoom? And the Zoom link is just open, and we'll just get on.
And just saying, nobody else is gonna put up with me. If you see the shit I send these people in text messages, working in the graveyard and weird shit, that
I go scrub my phone now. Will get me in trouble with the law.
Nobody is putting up.
But one of the funniest times was Tony tweeting out Andre and Sean reading tarot cards at 12 o'clock at night, trying to fucking figure out AEW with tarot cards. Me and Andre, the producer,
the greatest thing.
Are sitting there flipping tarot cards, my tarot cards that are right here, flipping tarot cards, trying to figure out who Buddy Murphy was. We thought it was Bray Wyatt, and we're sitting there watching the video.
Oh my God, for hours. Andre and Sean were overanalyzing this whole thing with tarot cards.
Andre, if you don't know, is one of the producers for Busted Open. He's in the background.
Yeah, Andre's the best.
Yeah, so Andre comes on out.
If you call in the Busted Open, 9 times out of 10, it's Andre answering the phone. He's the male voice you hear.
Red Bull.
If you're on the crew, y'all won't be on hold, baby.
That's right.
So
you go to the front of the line.
Well, guys, I'm not going to hold you up for the rest of the night. We can keep this going forever, but I want to bring it out. So I want to close down with the very final segment. The last segment is called Ring the Bell. And what Ring the Bell is this. You got 60 seconds to talk about anything. You can say your love for Busted Open again. You could talk about what you're gonna do tonight. You're gonna talk about what you ate this morning, whatever you want to talk about. But each one of y'all, to close out, I'm gonna give you 60 seconds. I want to start off with Tony. Tony, you got 60 seconds. Go ahead and
done it again.
Ring the bell, Tony. Let's go.
I want to take this time to thank Mr. Dave Lagreca for bringing all of us together. All of the crew, that the ones here, the ones that aren't here, from front row to Chad, to Trenda, to Neil, to Elder, everyone. Y'all all mean the world to me, and I don't know what I would do in this world if it wasn't for all of y'all. And it's Dave Lagreca that did it. Dave Lagreca is the one that started this fire, and it ain't gonna be put out by nobody. No entity is gonna put this fire out. So I just wanted to say thank you to Dave Lagreca, and of course, you know, Bully, Mark, Tommy, Thunder, Mickey. We all love you.
Mhm.
Sean,
Gabby.
ring the bell.
Even Guns.
Yes,
Guns.
Guns.
Fuck
Oh
Guns.
Wait a
God.
minute.
Fuck
Guns.
Guns sucks.
The first time I called it, Gun said my name wrong on a Saturday, but that's neither here nor there. But go ahead. Sean, ring the bell.
I want to
man.
thank Dave, Chris, Bully, Gabby, Mark, Mickey, Thunder, Tommy for introducing me to these people, because it felt like a breath of fresh air, and like my life finally really started when I found these people in my life. I was walking through, listening to my death metal, hanging out in my cemetery, and that's what I did every day. I still do it every day, but now I have, but now I share stuff with y'all, even though as weird as the stuff that comes out of my mouth is. But I'm like Van Gogh. The weirder the shit is, the better creative shit I come up with.
Dude, you cut your ear off. I'm losing your number.
That was my next move.
John, you're next. Ring the bell, John.
Okay. To echo what my brothers have said, I am a humble and blessed man that I have enjoyed wrestling all my life. But more importantly, that I have these people, these four you see here with me now, and the 10 or so others that are my crew. They are my family. There's no other way I can put it. I will live, die, fight for, fight with, fight against anybody that tries to mess with my crew. These are my people. I'm very, very, like I said, I'm a humble and blessed man that I have these people in my life. And I have to thank Dave primarily. His friendship to me as the leader, the creator, the catalyst that made all this happen, that made me a humble, blessed man, starts and ends with that man. So that's my ring the bell for Dave Lagreca. I will defend that crazy bastard anywhere, every time, anywhere.
Not crazy. He can't yell no more. His jaw's dislocated.
Yeah. Deb Housen, go ahead and ring the bell for me.
All right. Well, I said what I had to say before about Dave. He's the best. I will fight anyone who has a negative thing to say about him. And you don't want to see me fight. It's not pretty.
No,
I
think I'm rubbing off on her a little bit.
All 4.5 feet of fury.
But I wanna thank everyone in our whole crew, everyone, for being such good friends to me. I had friends before, obviously, and I've had friends who I, considered my best friends and spent every day with, but I don't think I really truly had the connection with anyone before. And these are people that don't live in my hometown. They're all across the country, and I have a stronger connection with them than with the people that live 2 miles down the road. So that's it.
You're not allowed to cheat with other people.
Hey, Cap, Chris, I want you to go ahead and finish it off with ringing the bell.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna keep it quick and short, but I just want to say that my crew knows that I will go to war for them. I will for life. I even though some of them are older than me, I'm overprotective of them. And I guess it's because of my background, which is in law enforcement. I have to protect and serve. So it's like I automatically get into that protect mode when I see someone disrespect them, or, you know, a troll on Twitter might say something, you know, crazy, and I'm ready to go to war quick. But it's two people that can pretty much calm me down, and Tony's one of them, and Stephen P is the other. They're like, Chris, calm down. It ain't that serious. But I'm like, but wait a minute. They're like, no. And Tony, he knows he is the red to me. He holds me accountable for shit. He calls me out on my bullshit all the time, and I call him out on his too. So to my people, I'm dedicating this one to you. You know I love you for life. You know that, right?
Aww.
I ain't burying nobody for you.
That's what's up.
Oh, you too.
Oh, and shout out to Ashley real quick. Because she's gonna watch this. My crazy
She in
shit.
Cancun, drinking out of coconuts.
Well, guys, I want to thank y'all for coming on, man. Like I said, I met this crew at Wrestlemania weekend, and they're as awesome on here as they were there. You guys, as a matter of fact, tell them how they can check out y'all each and every week.
Tony and Deb.
I am at That's So Debonair on Twitter and Truth Resist Simplicity on the Instagram.
And I am at Tony Justice, AJFA, and I'll go ahead and say it here. And if you're a Metallica fan, you know what that means.
Yeah, brother.
Chris from Baltimore on Twitter. Find me. I'm always smoking cigars. Shout out to the Busted Open Cigar Club. And I am also Chris from Baltimore on Instagram. So if you love wrestling, you love cigars, holla at your girl.
I am Sean Scythe. I am Sean Scythe across all platforms, Instagram, Twitter, mostly Instagram because that's where I put most of my artwork. Just hit me up.
And I am at Twisted Metal Fab on all platforms. Watch out for the Nation's Corner on location. Look for the hashtag. Find me where you see me at the indie shows. Come and say hello. We're on the tour again this weekend. North Jersey Friday, Delaware on Saturday.
This here.
And make sure you guys check out their podcast each and every Saturday. They go live.
7 o'clock, YouTube.
The Nation's
7
Corner.
o'clock Eastern.
Wait a minute. That's what I'm going to ask. Has anybody ever told Front Row he looks like Jimmy Corderas?
All the time.
Okay,
Every
All
damn
the time.
Okay.
We've been saying that for years.
Yes.
Well, guys, y'all heard that. You see where you can follow them. You can get up with them. You want some wrestling family? Y'all can join the family too if y'all cool. So go ahead, hit each and every last what up. Uh-oh. Well, you see, it's the gatekeeper. It's the gatekeeper.
You have to beat me. You have to beat me in the graveyard.
Woo-wee.
Sean was the last admission.
Yeah. Chris, who you?
It's
Who
like
this?
the ladder on Mortal Kombat. You got to go all the way up the top to make it.
Yes.
And with that being said, thank you guys for listening.
Thank you,
once again.
Thank you for having us, Whip.
No problem, man. I had a ball.
Thank you.
Y'all know what to do. Check it out, share it, tweet it, 5-star, comment, whatever you do. And see y'all next time on the Wrestling Heroes and Insiders Podcast, a.k.a. The Whip Show. Take care, guys.